Hey guys, so today we're going to go over changing the oil on a 2015 Toyota 4Runner. The same situation will apply for all 5th gen Toyotas. Should be the 2010 to 2020, I believe, is the model year current now for the 4Runner. The same will apply. What you're going to need for this job is you're going to need a jack, a couple of jack stands, you're going to need an oil catch pan, a funnel, you're going to need oil, you're going to want 0W20, and then you're going to need a filter. This Mobile 1 filter is M1C-256A, and that's the one for this. You're going to need a metric socket set, a 3/8 inch driver, a 1/2 inch driver, a flathead screwdriver, your oil filter tool. I'm going to cheat a little bit with the impact wrench there, just to kind of speed up some of the things, but you can get away, if that's not needed, you can get away with just the ratchet there. And you're going to want some safety glasses because you're going to be dealing with oil and you don't want it splashing in your eyes. And I'm going to use a pair of gloves. First things first is you want to make sure that the truck is a little bit warm. You don't want it to be too hot because obviously you're going to be dealing with the oil, but you do want the engine oil to be a little bit warm so that way you can let it flow out a lot easier. From there, you're going to come in, find this little latch, pop the hood, come around to the front. There's a little latch right there. You just kick that sideways and lift it up. Provided your hood shocks are still in good shape, it should stay up on its own. And then what we're going to do is we're going to open this up right now. What that's going to do is prevent any vacuum from forming when we finally go to drain the oil. So I'm just going to open that up and set that cap aside for right now. Next step we got is we're going to place our floor jack. I like to use this little cross member right here just because it's nice and beefy on the frame. And we're going to jack up the vehicle and place a couple of jack stands underneath the frame to support us while we got the truck up. Now I'm going to place these jack stands just in front of that cross member there. And I've got the same one on the other side. You can kind of see it in way the jack on the other side. And then we're going to lower the truck down onto it. Boom, just like that. Next step we got going on is we're going to remove this plate right here. It's just, well, this is the front of the truck that I'm tapping on here. This is the front skid plate. You keep going back and you got a little plate right here. It's got two 12mm bolts on it. You don't want to get it confused with that guy back there. That one I'm talking about. Don't take that plate off back there. That's the transmission. You don't want to dump your transmission fluid out all over the place. So be mindful. There's two screws. This plate here. I'm going to use my impact and cheat a little bit and zip those out. And zip that. And the plate comes out. And there's your oil drain plug sitting right there. Now we've got our drain pan positioned underneath the oil pan. I'm getting ready to remove the drain plug. Be mindful to take the plug out of here and open up this on your catch pan. If you're using this type of container to where it does, you don't want the perfect chain of events to happen where you drop the drain plug down in here and it plugs these holes and you start overflowing oil all over your driveway. And you don't want to forget to open this guy because you got to have the air build up inside, give it a place somewhere to go so it'll bleed out the air here and you won't inflate the thing and pool up oil here. So like I said, we're just gonna take the plug out now. This is a 14mm and I'm switching over to not use my impact just to get it loose and drop it, get it started, and then get it going by hand. One thing I forgot to mention on my gear list is paper towels. They always come in handy. But basically all I'm doing here is just cleaning off the drain plug, making sure there's no dirt, grime, grit, whatever you want to call it. Just inspecting it. And I like to throw a little washer on there. These copper washers are nice. But yeah, that's it. Just kind of cleaning things up, getting ready to put it back in, and then move on to the filter. All right, as you can see, the flow has dropped off quite a bit, so I'm just going to wipe this clear. Looks like we're all good. Make sure that the mating surface here on the pan where the plug is going to go is nice and clean. And then I like to start all these by hand. Get it hand tight. Take your 14mm, make sure it's on tight, and then from hand tight, give it about a quarter turn or so. About that. And that should be plenty tight. Not trying to torque the world here. Just want to make sure it seals. Once you got it all sealed up, it's time to put our plate back on. Like I said, I like to start these by hand. And then we take our 12mm, zip them home. So now we're going to move on to the filter. In order to do that, makes it real handy if you remove this plastic plate here to get it out of the way so you can remove this skid plate. You're going to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a 10mm, and then you got a little plastic clip that you're going to have to get out of the way to get that plastic out of the way. And then you're going to have to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. And those are going to be 12mm, and that'll drop the skid plate out of the way. So you can see I got the skid plate down, and it's hanging down, and it connects here and here. There's two little hooks that it sits on, so you got to kind of have it hanging down like it is, and then grab a hold of it, and it kind of pops out. You can see these two hooks here and here that line up with that hole there and that hole there in reference to the front of the truck. So with the skid plate removed, you can see the filter we got going on here. It's like the filter cartridge. We got this little metal cap here around this plastic housing. Actually get those reinforcements out of the way. Get my fingers. So you got that metal cap there, plastic housing. Take a 3/8 driver, and you can make sure it's on loose and loosen that cap there just a little bit. A little extension probably wouldn't hurt, but I didn't feel like running back to this house to get it. But anyway, you just got to break it loose, pull it out. There you go. And then in the filter that you buy comes one of these little plastic cats, and you got to make sure that your drain pan is positioned, and you stick that up in there. Yeah, like I was saying, you got to stick that plastic piece in there and push it up in there. Oh, come on now. There we go. Push it, and this one doesn't want to lock. That's unfortunate. So I guess I got to hold it and let it drain out. And the more you let drain out now, the less spillage you'll have when you take that plastic filter cap off. Alright, so now it's time to use our little filter tool to pull that cap off. Yeah, it was on there, but not too bad. Again, an extension on this ratchet, if you got one, probably wouldn't be a bad idea, but you got clearance enough. Tool out of the way. Not spill it all over the driveway. There we go. Not too bad. So once you got that out, you got the filter sitting there draining, I'm going to just kind of wipe this little area out to kind of prevent any drips. I'm going to slide that out, pull my filter apart. Pull that off, dump all the used motor oil out of there. On the back here, there's an O-ring that's kind of being a pain in the butt. There it comes. And then we got another one right here. Our little handy dandy screwdriver is going to come in handy. There we go. We got replacement O-rings supplied in the kit. Your hand's probably going to have a little bit of oil on them already, so just use that to lube up these O-rings a little bit before you put them on there. Slide the new one on. Just like so. Take your little guy. Oop, almost forgot to put some oil on him. Put a little bit of oil on that one. Have him sitting in there. Grab a few of my mom's secret weapons, aka paper towels. Get that all cleaned up a little bit, and then we can take this cap, get all the used motor oil off of it, screw it back on. Now I just got that started. I'll tighten it up a little more once I get it actually on the truck. Get all that oil out of there. And I'm going to take my replacement filter element. Slide it on. About like that. There you go. I'm going to take this filter assembly and get it screwed back in there. You can get it started by hand. This is where that little extension would probably come in handy again, but there we go. And that's snug enough. Now I'm going to take my 3/8 and snug down that cap ever so tight. There we go. Not trying to torque it too much. And then we just put the skid plates back on. So we just tightened everything back up down under the truck. Now we're going to pour some oil in it. Now I don't know if anybody knew this or not, or anybody told you, but these things are designed to where you don't really need to pour them with a filter as long as you put this spout on the top. See, it'll just start pouring out at much like flatter angle than if you were to pour it out like this. See how it comes out at a lot sooner than if you got the spout at the top. You can get it nice and flat. That's a little trick for you in case you ever don't have a funnel. But here we're just gonna use a funnel because we got it. Same thing on these. You can pour them sideways. Same thing. If you ever need to not use a funnel, just a little trick. That's all she wrote. Take a couple more paper towels. Try to catch any drips. Put the cap back on. Head inside the truck. Start her up for about 10 seconds. And then I'm gonna come back outside and make sure we don't have any leaks. All right, I don't see any lights or anything. Shut it off. Come on down here, check our filter. Looks nice and dry, just like it was. I don't see any oil dripping out of our plate there. So we're good to go. So, got the skid plate, plastic cover, all that stuff all buttoned up nice and tight down there, looking good. Now we're going to drop the rear end. And we're going to lower the truck all the way down. Boom. Last thing we're going to want to do is reset our maintenance reminder. So when that comes on there, you want to make sure that you're in trip A, and you do that by cycling this over here. We can see we got trip B, then we got the odometer. Now we got trip A selected. So what we're going to do is we're going to shut the car off, hold down that selector over here on the right, and then turn it back on. And you can see when it clicks back on, it says resetting maintenance data. Once that bar is done cycling, boom, and we're good. And now our maintenance reminder is reset, and that's it. Hope this helps.